The Indiana Fever have fired Coach Christie Sides. This does not come as a surprise for many of you that have been following the situation throughout the league, as Sides becomes the latest head coach to not be brought back by the organization. There's been various general manager or coach turnover all around the league, but I think Sides had a lot of people particularly watching for her position, which was kind of under the spotlight throughout the year. Sides was the coach for the Fever for the last 2 years, and she went 33-47 overall. She came into an organization that just had drafted Aaliyah Boston, or they were about to draft Aaliyah Boston. And from there, this team then the next season drafted Caitlin Clark. So when you got the number one pick 2 years in a row, it's usually not a great sign. But I think what happened was they saw the timeline of this team, and this team is ahead of schedule to where the coach is. And in sports, I feel like you see this a lot of times where, teams might need a coach to get them from one level to another, and then a coach can't quite get them to the top level, so you got to bring in someone else. I think everyone had kind of looked at Size throughout the season as being a little bit in over her head. I think you had to give her a little bit of credit for rallying the team from that 1-8 start, but a lot of that coincided with kind of her getting out the way and turning over the offense to Caitlin Clark. Sides made a lot of alarming comments before the season, and I don't know if she knew exactly what she had in Caitlin Clark, who could really just roll out there from day one and be the engine in the offense, and is offensively spectacular as the Fever were last year. They would struggle sometimes in end-of-game situations. They would struggle to generate a play for their best player sometimes. And I think the second that Caitlin kind of took over that offense right there, Sides was on the clock, because at that point you want to get a superior offensive mind in there to really take hold of this offense, and Sides just isn't the one. She's known as a defensive coach, and sadly, like, she was coaching a team that could not defend. So, at that point it's like, well, what are you doing? So let's take a look at what the Fever had to say. This is their quote. They said, "We are incredibly thankful to Coach Sides for embracing the challenge of leading us through an integral transition period over the last 2 seasons, while also positioning us well for future growth," said Fever's new president of basketball operations, Kelly Crosspoff. I think that's how you say her name. "While decisions like these are never easy, it is also imperative that we remain bold and assertive in the pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana." Coach Sides was an incredible representative of the Fever in our community, and we wish her nothing but success in the future. As I mentioned, she went 33-49 over 2 years. That's a .413 winning percentage. They got to the playoffs, first time since 2016, and she aided in the development of Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. And she was the first coach in franchise history to be named Coach of the Month in August 2024. She also got one single Coach of the Year vote, which was interesting. But I'm thinking about this from kind of another angle. Say what you want now, Caitlin Clark runs this team. She's a superstar. All great players have gotten a coach fired. Like, no one has ever come through and been like, I'm just gonna roll what I got. Maybe except Tim Duncan. That's the only person that I think didn't get a coach fired, essentially. But it's kind of a rite of passage for superstars. And I think the next person that everyone's thinking about, and some weird stuff was going on with as far as the reporting and kind of like a timeline of their departure from the playoffs, is Stephanie White from the Connecticut Sun, who definitely, like, she was coaching, former player for the Indiana Fever, and she's kind of the name that everyone's circling. Like, she has their eyes on them and they have their eyes on her. However, I'm going to throw another name out there that I don't think people are thinking about, And no, it's not Cheryl Miller, although that might be fun to think about, but the recently retired Lisa Bluder. So early in the season, I noticed this. Coach Bluder would show up at the games, and she'd be kind of seated behind Christie Sides, and they would catch like just camera moments of them on the screen together. And I don't know if you remember the picture of like Russell Westbrook behind Kevin Durant when he had the MVP. Like you could kind of see Coach Bluder kind of like looking behind Christie Sides, like she doesn't know what she's doing with this offense. If there's somebody that can coach offense, it is definitely Lisa Bluder. Now, I don't know what she's doing in her personal life. I don't know if she intends to enjoy her retirement from Iowa and, sail off for the rest of her days and just, follow Caitlin around to big games or whatever. But, man, if it was me, I'm making the call at least. Like, I want two people to choose from, not just to be let down by one. So Lisa Bluder would be my secret candidate that I would have. Be like, hey, you already know star player. Star player respects you. She'll listen and just bring that offense in here. And you got way better players to do it with. Like you've got Aaliyah Boston to run with. You've got Kelsey Mitchell. You've got Lexi Hull who can hit 3-pointers for you. I think this is a golden opportunity for a coach to step in and basically they're like, yeah, I'm gonna help y'all win the title now. And it'll be like a little bit like Pat Riley stepping into the Lakers job. Like, yeah, you got Magic Johnson. I think you'll be just fine. All you got to do is bring the people together the people part together, and then bring the defensive side out a little bit. But if you bring your offensive mind and you combine it with that once-in-a-generation player, I think it'll be fun times. As far as Coach Sides, I think she got it tough from a lot of Indiana Fever fans and Caitlin Clark fans who just wanted immediate, like, hey, do you not know what's going on here? Like, like she wasn't recognizing the program, I think, a lot. But she still had a locker room to kind of, like, hold together. And it must have been tough thinking she was signing up last year to coach Aaliyah Boston and this back to the basket offense, and they could take everything real slow. And then all of a sudden that timeline changed in a heartbeat because you can't draft Caitlin Clark and then tell her to walk the ball up and dump it in. That just can't be the way. And a lot of this, I'm waiting for more reporting to come out around this, and hopefully there is good kind of sources close to the situation who can tell us the dynamic between the players and sides as far as, did the players essentially hijack and be like, yo, we're going to kind of play the way we want to play that are most conducive to our skill set, or was sides a part of that? I don't really know. So I'm not going to speculate on that part. But there was clearly a change after that 1-8 start. So Sides was brought in by Lynn Dunn, who basically, went to the Fever front office in an emeritus role. She's no longer the GM and president of basketball operations. That's why he brought the Kelly lady back in. And Dunn, this was Dunn's coach right here, handpicked. And I've got the article from when they introduced her pulled up, and I kind of want to go through those quotes here to see if she was able to do this. So basically Lynn Dunn had said Size's ability to build relationships with players and her commitment to defense stood out to her during the hiring process. Well, I don't think they excelled on defense, even if that was her goal. Dunn says she is the perfect fit for our young, talented team. I'm confident she will rebuild this franchise. We will reestablish this franchise as a team that wins on the court and in the community. Sides was an assistant in Indiana from 2018 to 19. So she coached Kelsey Mitchell twice, essentially. She was an assistant for the Atlanta Dream. She's coached internationally. And She had said, I was excited to be back in Indianapolis. I really enjoyed my 2 years here when I was here prior. Indiana and Indiana basketball is something that is different from any place in the world. She spoke with every player on the roster and already started to build relationships with them, which will be her biggest focus heading into her first season as a head coach. Now, Christine Brennan is writing a book on Caitlin Clark. I would imagine that there is some insight into what she kind of seen as a reporter close to the situation with Sides' relationship with Caitlin. There was a lot of, why won't Christie Sides stand up more for Caitlin Clark? Why is she so soft on either the referees or in the press conferences and calling these things out? And I've seen many people reply in comments, to my videos saying they're ready to get rid of Sides. So I think that is a question. Was she able to build a relationship with her best player? And from the looks of it, you look at the result, you want to just say, nah, I don't think she was. But that isn't something we have confirmed yet. I'm willing to hear you out on that, but let's just make sure the reporting matches our instincts. So she said, when it comes down to it, the players are most important. I can't wait to get involved and invested with these young people. We have a great young core. We have a lot of great potential here with this team. Mind you, this is 2 years ago. So this is like they were just about to draft Aaliyah Boston at that time. So yeah, I don't know where Christie Sides is going to continue to coach, but they've got some assistant positions open around the league. Maybe she tries to join back up with the Atlanta Dream coaching staff. Maybe some of the other places that she had previously been. But good luck to Christie Sides, and the Indiana Fever are moving forward. So Stephanie White or Lisa Bluder, come on down. Those would be my picks. Who do you think should coach the Indiana Fever in the future? What did you think of Christie Sides as a coach? A lot of us just got to see her this year. So I was very up and down on her, but ultimately I would have liked to give her a chance to kind of grow with the roster. But I guess the timeline sped up too fast, and the front office was like, absolutely not. We're not going forward with this. We need to compete right now because we can win right now. So, and as we saw, high-level coaching was needed, like with the WNBA finals. And much as I don't, rock with her, Cheryl Reeves, it would have been a battle of wits, and Christie Sides would have seemed unarmed in comparison to Cheryl Reeves. So, yeah, I'll holler at y'all next time. And one lifetime. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.